Godspeed to the Speedy Tribe. How we doing out here, man? We back with another episode, and it's been a while. It's been since probably like February, maybe March. One of those.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but we back nonetheless, man. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be here. I got some young, great energy in the building tonight.
I would bark, but you know what I mean? We're going to leave that for later.
Yes, sir. So, first and foremost, I have a young man here, bro. I've been knowing this kid since, he was a youngin' running around at football practice in Passaic. And I will say this young man has grown and blossomed to be a leader in his own expertise. And he's still doing his thing right now. So without further ado, I would like to welcome to the show my boy, Alex Acevedo, Passaic's very own.
Yes,
welcome,
yes, sir.
Thank you
so much. And I want to appreciate you, you know, and I really want to appreciate you, Speedy, because, right, like being somebody young in the community, especially in certain communities where you don't get that leadership where you should get it, right, where it should be more present. Like growing up, there's a lot of people that lack that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that lack those role models. There's a lot of people that lack that understanding of what that is, even to be a man, even to like have those principles, morals of what you should do. Yeah. So like you were one of those people that I look up to, aside from Henry, aside from Shakir, right, aside from my older brother. So I really like appreciate you being who you are because that's needed.
Yeah.
Like even when we, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, like us being like with the Chiefs and also being like in the high school and stuff like that. We can see it. We see the difference in these kids when we're around. We see how they operate. We see how they move. We see how they're able to retain that and be better because of that. And that's needed, man. So I really want to appreciate you, first for being yourself and second for having me on.
Yeah. And that's what we're supposed to do, man. Like, looking at the youth coming up I'm a young OG. I ain't an old OG yet. However, I'm getting to that I'm pushing the envelope to 30 right now, and just to see young people like yourself, man, coming up and being ambitious. Like, if it's one thing that you should know is that older people want to give that wisdom and knowledge and want to lead the way. So that's why, like, I say yes, absolutely. When you hit me up, yo, you want to get on the pod? Let's do it, because I know that you got a story. And I know that you got ambition. I know you got drive, and I know you're on the quest of obtaining your purpose, right?
Exactly.
So let's segue into it. So let's get into it. First and foremost, you from Passaic, New Jersey, born and raised?
Yes, born and raised, literally.
Okay.
Where I don't necessarily know the name of the hospital. I think it's St. Joseph, if I'm not.
No, St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. Yeah, so
St. Joe's. I was born in St. Joe's in Patterson.
Okay. Yeah, but St. Mary's, right? Literally, before they teared it down, like that's where I was born. So I've always been born and raised in Passaic. 100%.
That's what's up, man. And, growing up in Passaic, New Jersey, it's either one way or the other. We both know that. So I just want to say, like, what was the first and foremost, you're here, right? You're right here. And I know you got a story, but take me back to how it was growing up for you.
So growing up for me, wow, like this is where we got to like open up and be real, right?
Yeah.
100%. So like growing up for me, I've always had a big family. On both sides of my family. With that being said, being in Passaic, a lot of my family was either in PA or they were in DR.
Yeah.
So it's really like intermediate, right? Like my brothers, my sisters, like very, very close. And so like for me, my siblings kind of went off to do their own journey, right? Whether it was college, whether it was marriage. In essence, I don't want to say that I grew up by myself, but in a sense I did, because they weren't like physically there because they were on their own journey and they had to do what they got to do.
Sure.
And I had like a young like little sister and stuff like that, but they're never able to actually like relate or be there in that way because they're a lot younger and like the age gaps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like with me, I always like knew who I was. That's always not the best thing when you're younger, because with that being said, you get a certain type of character and attitude about yourself. You know what I mean? Yes, the black sheep. Very, very. I'm definitely one of those black sheep in my family. You know what I mean? And so
I can relate.
And so like when with that, like growing up, you're not received in that way because in my experience, is like people can't control you. People can't tell you what to do.
Right.
And like when you're younger, it's very uncomfortable for them because they actually have to deal with you like an adult.
That's
but
true.
you're a child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I found a lot of that, and thank God that like sports was there for me.
Yes.
Because if not, I could have went down a completely other path.
Respectfully, yes.
With that being said.
Yeah,
but
man.
yeah, that was the start of the upbringing.
Yeah.
I would say.
So like, knowing that you were a black sheep, right? Because we all go through, like, black sheeps know a black. That's why we here.
Yeah.
Energy is real. So, and I always find myself amongst people who went through similar paths as me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, being that you were going through what you was going through, right? Being outcast, they was telling, I think Curvin was telling me, I don't know if you were there yesterday, but they were telling me about how they used to be mad at you at practice because you was the main one always trying to be vocal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I can relate to that because it was like that when I was the captain of high school and stuff like that on the football team. I'm the most vocal one. I'm the most hardworking person. I'm gonna be out there getting extra reps. I'm gonna be doing what I got to do to pretty much make sure everybody's good.
Exactly.
So how did you deal with the what do you call it? The what word I'm looking for? The pushback.
The pushback?
The pushback to people trying to say, man, get out of here, or your teammates always trying to clown you, or even people, family members trying to outcast you more. It seemed like you the one that's bugging.
Right. So like what I'll say is I'm gonna be completely honest. It was definitely a transition. There was definitely a point where like when it came to sports, I was a leader. That's who I was, but I didn't know how to get them to understand that.
Yeah.
Right. And so like even though I was like vocal the way that I was, I needed the energy behind it, which I lacked at that time because I didn't have the understanding of that.
Yeah.
And so it was a little complicated when it came to that. When it came to my family, it was also very difficult because for me, it's like I had very extremes, right? I'm either going to be very, very nice and kind, or I'm going to be very, very aggressive. And one thing that I understood that when it comes to family, you should never try to take that approach. With that being said, granted, you need to stand on morals and principles. And throughout that process of like going through those trials and tribulations, I ended up getting that. Yeah. But there was always an imbalance through that with me. But when it came to like people outside of that, I just did whatever I wanted. You know what I mean? Like that's I just carried that like that because I'm like, yo, you're not even anybody I care about for real. So like we can go to whatever level you want to get to at that point. But definitely, I'm gonna be honest. It's only been within the last year that I'm able to not only embody what it is to be that black sheep and be who I am and be that leader, but also be fluid enough to know when and where and to who that needs to be applied to.
How does it feel?
Oh, free. It's so liberating. It is so liberating. Like, we have a little funny story between like me and my brother where like he's kind of seeing it a lot more now because that's what I'm like moving towards, and like it's funny because it's surprising, right? Like there was a church member the other day who had mentioned like, yo, like what's going on with Alex? Like I see that he's very, like very different. And the thing is that this is what I want people to understand. This is who I actually am. It's just that I was never able to express it before. So you're thinking that it's different, but in the whole time, in the whole reality, that's me. And now that I'm able to express it, now to you it might be different, but to me it's been me the entire time.
You know what I say to people that go through that all the time?
What?
You have arrived, bro.
Exactly.
You have arrived, bro. And that's part of it. That's part of going through the trials and tribulations of life of really getting to self. Because obviously that's part of life. Like we go around in this world, we walk around every single day, and the main objective is to come right back to the center ground, which is self.
Exactly.
We lose ourselves whether to the left or to the right. And sometimes we lose ourselves due to other people's projections of us, right?
Exactly.
So I always try to say, man, you're born into this world clean as a baby's bottom, right? As you go through this world, you're going to get dirt, you're going to get cut up, you're going to get bruised up, you're going to get everything else, right? But the point of this whole entire thing in life is for you to go through life and receive all of those things, but still remain pure on the inside.
Exactly, and And like even to add on to your piece, right? I feel like a lot of those things happen so that you can also then find a better version of yourself, right? Like even losing yourself, right? Like I want people to understand this. When you're lost, it's very, very hard and it's very, very difficult. With that being said, I feel like the main objective and one thing to keep in perspective always is that sometimes you go through those experiences so that you can then build on that and become a better version of yourself or be more authentically yourself and then be able to connect and resonate to what your actual spiritual essence is, right? And that's what has led to me, right? Like I've had to go through both extremes. I've had to go through the extremes of like being this type of person and having these ideologies, but not expressing it. And then I've also been to the side of like I express it too much or at the wrong time, and then like the backlash of that, right? And so now it's able to like, okay, take the good from this.
Yes.
Take the good from that.
Yes.
And be able to piece it together, and then the bad you just learn from it. And so like at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Like it's a learning process. It's a learning curve every day.
And that right there is part of what you said. You said something about your true essence, right? So and purpose, right? So that's something that I'm big on, right? What is your incarnation's objective, right? We're incarnate beings, but you all have objectives here on Earth, right?
Right.
And we're born into this Earth side of this realm, right? Now that you're 22, right?
Yes.
You're at that age where you're starting to be more knowing of self. You're not thinking no more. You're just becoming all knowing, right? Do you know what your purpose here is yet? And if not, it's fine. But I just want to know, what is your incarnation's objective? What is your objective here?
Right. And this is how I want to phrase it, to be completely honest. I want to say that I feel like throughout life, even though we might know what our purpose is, it always develops and it always grows. With that being said, I definitely feel like that my purpose right now is to be a light and a guide to other people, in the sense of like, okay, when you are that person that's misunderstood, when you are that person that you stand out from the crowd, the crowd, you don't really fit anywhere, right? We were talking about that the other day, right? Where it feels like everywhere that we go, we don't necessarily fit, but it's, in essence, is because we were meant to be made that wherever we go, that's where our home is. Whether we're here, whether we're in Florida, whether we're in Hawaii, whether we're in Texas, like wherever we're at in the world, we're supposed to be that, right? Like we're supposed to be that light for those people.
That's right.
And so it's the understanding of like being even to be relatable, right? Because if you don't go through any trials and tribulations, which most people are going through in the world, you can't then connect with the world, because you're at a disconnect automatically, right? Like even when like these rappers or like these very like successful people, like they're saying like a certain message or and stuff like that, like people don't necessarily grasp it in the way that they would, as opposed to somebody that they know, like, okay, they've been through my situation before. Like maybe it might not be exactly the same way, but they went through something that they had to overcome, and now look where they're at. How did
football shape you? Like, and what was the reason for you getting into it?
Wait, before you even say that, I want to ask you, your purpose and the reason why you're here.
I mean, what I do every single day, seen or unseen by the cameras or whatever the case may be, I am a light bearer. I know what I am. I always felt
shepherd.
You said it, not me. You said it, not me.
There we go.
And it's funny how you asked that question, and Henry was talking about that earlier. He was talking to the captains of the team today, and he said, do y'all know what a shepherd is? And they had to answer what a shepherd was. So that's my last name for y'all. I'm pretty sure y'all know that, but if y'all didn't know, that's my last name. So as I got older, I started realizing how important my last name was, and even my whole entire name, for that matter. However, since I was a young kid, I always just knew that I was born to do something great. And as I got older, I just walked more into my truth of who I am. You know what I mean? I am a healer through my words. I am a healer through my energy. I am the person that's going to redevelop or shape your perspective on what you think your life might be in regards to help yourself. Like, I can't live your life for you. However, I do know that I'm just someone to just make you think.
Yeah.
I'm just here to make you think. But I'm also here to make you think to know.
Exactly.
I'm not here to make you just think about things and just keep thinking. No. I want you to think enough so you can start saying, all right, I can't think no more. I have to know now.
And
I have to know that. I have to know. I have to be all-knowing, because in order to become yourself of who you really are sent here to be, you have to know. You have to have that knowledge. You have to act on the knowledge. You got to. So my purpose here is to be a healer. My purpose here is to be the motivator, the energy giver of the world, bro. Whoever I come across gonna catch this energy. They gonna catch it. They have to. You know what I mean? Because
we see it.
It's my duty. Like, cause I realized early in my life that energy is not going nowhere. And how real it was since I was a kid is just like, all right, I'm older now and I'm really understanding that. It's endless. It's endless energy that I have for everyone that I meet. I don't care. I can have a conversation with anyone. I had a conversation with a homeless guy earlier. I brought him some food and everything. Mm-hmm. And we was having a conversation because I think he said he's from Guyana. Okay. Giving me his background story and everything like that. And just to see the light, his face light up. You know, I didn't contribute to his demise. I contributed to his nourishment.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So me doing that, like, that's what you're supposed to do to people. Pay it forward. Give. Yeah. Giving is way better than receiving. Yeah. So that's what my purpose is, to be a giver of energy, knowledge, wisdom, just positivity, hope, motivation, all that good stuff. That's just what my vessel is made to do as the shepherd.
I love that. I love that.
Bro. So, you know, and that's another thing. So football, right? Let's get back to that. I want to ask this question because I know it played an instrumental part in your life, right?
Yeah, huge.
So what age did you start and why did you do it?
I want to say I started on the B team. Yeah. So that's around
10 years old.
Nah, I want to say a little bit later. I want to say like 11, 12. 11, 12. Around there, right? And I'm going to be honest. If it wasn't for football and my connection to football and my connection to Henry and my connection to you and stuff like that, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't be the man that I am today. I wouldn't be here right now.
Yes, sir.
Because I feel like, and like, granted, it's like that with different sports, but my example was football. I feel like that's one of the sports that kind of relate to life the most. Right? Like going through adversity, facing your problems head on. Yeah. When you're on defense, right, and you gotta like go and tackle, or you gotta do something, or like you're on offense and you're running, like that's what it is essentially. Like building character, pushing past failures, pushing past your limits, right? Like we can go on and on, like
breaking them barriers down.
Exactly, right? Like and it goes through that, and even understanding like when people are hard on you. It's because they care, not because they don't. Right. Because if they don't, they'll just let you do the same thing. And they'll let you be wrong. And they'll let you go out there and play wild and not win. And you're going to make a fool of yourself and stuff like that. And so all those things, and like even being around leaders, that's where I got that level of understanding, and that segued me into having the relationship that I had with Henry.
That's your big brother right there.
Shout out to Henry. Shout out to Henry. Big brother for a lot of people. You know what I mean?
That's my brother right there, man. Since knee-high Tim Butterfly, baby. Yeah, like playing wrestling in the park all the time, man.
Yeah, and even being a person like who he is, right? Like he's never been someone that is just, I guess, like has that level of like favoritism of like, no, like if you're like an athlete, then I'm gonna pay attention to you.
Pay attention to everybody.
No, like he pays attention to everyone, and he genuinely cares about who you are as an individual. He like it's bigger than football. It's bigger than sports. It's who you are. What is the type of guidance that you have? Because he understands that everyone comes from different circumstances, and that. And his purpose, he's that for others. He's been that for me. He's been that for you. He's been that for so many others. We can go down the list, right? And so for me, like being through football, I got those lessons, and then I was able to build that relationship with Hen that allowed me to be the man that I am today.
So the man that you are today, right? So you got a lot of things going on for you. You know, you're literally on the verge of getting to that pinnacle level, right? Yeah. So you're on your way. You're doing good things with yourself. So tell the people, man, like what you got going on right now with yourself, if you mind sharing. If you don't want to share exactly what you got going on, what's moving right now and what's not moving? Tell me what's moving right now, and you can talk about publicly.
Yeah, that's fine. So like right now, I'm currently like building a marketing agency, right? Like I've always been a business owner in spirit. Had a truck company before. Dope. Me and Henry sold comic books.
Yeah.
We created
Come
our own
on,
comic
man.
books. You know what I mean?
You know that.
Sell
I was
bucket
there
hats.
I was there at the book signing,
you
baby.
know what I mean? You was there,
Yeah, I was
baby.
there at
You
the
know
book
what I'm saying?
signing,
You was
baby.
there, right?
Yeah.
Like that
Yes, sir.
happened. You know, like the first. I'm like, I don't want to brag or anything like that, but you know, we got to talk about it. Like the first bucket hat I ever wore was my brand
There
bucket
you go.
hat. You know what I
There you
mean?
go. There you go.
Got that. I was doing things, and so like with that being said, I've always had that spirit, and the reason why I want to say that I feel like that is important, or it might just be important to me, is because of time freedom, and essentially being able to be who you are.
Yep.
Right? Because there's a lot of jobs out here that don't allow you to be you because you need to follow the cookie cutter frame. You need to fit in that box. You need to fall in line.
Yep.
And like, granted, I'm not gonna say that that's wrong or like that's something that shouldn't be done like for most people and stuff like that, or anyone, right? Like, because everyone has their life and they're gonna live it the way that they live it, and like that works for some people, right? But I want other people to know that if you have never fit in that, don't try to force yourself to fit in that. Figure it out along the way. You need to be smart enough. It's like 50 Cent said. You need to be smart enough to pick up the information as it comes, right? And then you need to put yourself in that fire if that's what you really want, because that's the only way that it's going to happen. And so, like, for me, that's where, like, I've always pushed for that, right? Like, granted, you have to be smart about it. You need to be strategic because everybody's living situation is different. You still need to live at the end of the day. Before you get to living, you need to survive. But that I want people to understand that the pinnacle is living. To be alive.
How did you, growing up in Passaic, how did you dodge the madness?
Whoa, that's a great question. I want to say that for me, I guess it's like just keeping my eyes open. Just like one of the biggest attributes that I feel like I have, and one of the biggest talents that I have, like even this goes deeper to like physical, it goes to like spiritual. It's my vision. It's my eyes. I'm able to see things. I'm able to read people enough to be like, okay, I know that if I'm around this person, it's gonna lead to X, Y, and Z. I know that if I'm around this situation, it's gonna lead to X, Y, and Z.
That's right.
And so it's figuring out what the bigger picture is, kind of sacrificing, because sometimes it's like, you know, like you just want to have fun. Sometimes like you like really mess with someone, or like they're cool and stuff like that. So like you put yourself in those situations. Even not knowing or knowing, but still doing it. And like for me, it's always just been like, no, like at the end of the day, I know that the consequences of the madness is so real that I can't even play with that. Because I'm just gonna take myself away or set myself so far back that even if I want to come back, I might not even be able to. So that's something that I've like recognized really young, and that like not even just me by myself, like I've also had influences, right? Like of those people that I mentioned earlier, that also helped me be aware of those things. Like okay, like this is something that you're not looking at, but you got to look at it like this because of X, Y, and Z. And I was able to be receptive enough to be like, you know what, you're right.
Right.
So that's where it came from.
Yeah, and that's very important to have the foresight, right?
Exactly.
To see what's in front of you, not even on a visual level, but on a spiritual and energetic level. You know what I mean? Seeing things before they even come. You know, knowing that on the other side of that door is something crazy. Now, granted...
Wait, I don't want to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But I definitely want to say, for people out there, right? When you get a gut feeling of something, when you get a voice that overpowers your normal voice in your head, listen to it. Regardless of what it is, listen to it. Because there's a spiritual realm that you're connected to, whether you even know it or not, that is gonna let you know. Like there was a time where, like, to even give it a little backstory, there was a time where I was out at like a car meet, right, in Patterson. I should have never been in Patterson. That's where we should have started off. I should have never been in Patterson to begin with. But
Patterson.
You know what I mean? It's a very wild world out there. Dog eat dog. But with that being said,
shout out to Patterson, man.
Shout out to Patterson. We love y'all though. You know,
great people.
You know what I mean?
Out there. Love it.
And like with that being said, I just got the feeling, no, you don't need to be here. Go now. Go right now. And I left. Thank God that I left, because later on, literally 10 minutes later, I think 4 people got killed. Another 3 got injured. And I could have been amongst those people.
In that area, that same area.
In that same area. That was that.
Wow.
That's just one of many examples.
You see, that's the importance of following source. You're connected to it, right? We all connected to something inside of us, bro. Let me tell y'all something, man. Every time you feel that urge, like, no, just go with it. Don't go from it. Go with it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the residual impact it has when you don't listen to intuition. Because I'm going to tell y'all, son, if you didn't know, what is a tuition in college, right? Is your teachings that you pay for, right? So in tuition, your inner teachings is trying to teach you something. When you deviate from your inner teachings, your intuition, it's never a good thing to do, because then you're going to be smacking yourself in the behind because things didn't go your way, or damn, I missed this opportunity, or, things just don't go your way after that. Stop deviating from source because you connected to it. Stop. Everybody is. It ain't just, me, Al. No, it's all of us. But sometimes we tend to allow the physical to overpower us, right? And then we don't get to what we got to get because we ignored it. You can't ignore source. It is within you. It is part of you. It is your inner teachings that is trying to tell you, yo, don't do this, but do that. Mm-hmm. Do this, but don't do that. Don't deviate, man. It's very important.
Yeah, 100%.
Very important.
And I want to wrap that piece up. Like, I definitely want to say that it's kind of hard for certain individuals because they don't even take the time to build on that understanding of self. They don't take time away. They're not by themselves.
Oh, I got a question.
Go ahead.
What tools, because in life we are given tools, right, to use. What tools were you equipped with to upheave your spirituality?
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, we can go from upbringing in church. We can go from certain individuals that are here. We can go from having to actually spend time with myself, right? Like, wow. Like being like, yeah. This is where I want to give my flowers and give my appreciation forward to, again, my big brother Henry. Mm-hmm. He was the first person that open my eyes to what it is to be by myself.
I'm laughing because this is true. This is very true.
That's like, that was the first thing he told me. Mm-hmm. Like okay, like, yeah, like I can take you under my wing, like I can do this, like we can build, we can do all this, but I need you to take time for yourself. Yeah. I need you to figure out who you are. I need you to figure out what are the things that make you happy, what are the things that make you sad, what are the things that bother you, what is your actual laugh? Yep. People have a fake laugh out here.
Swear.
Because they're out here mimicking.
Yep. Other people's laughs.
Exactly.
Not even being themselves. Henry is the first person I ever saw go to the movies by themselves. Ever.
Bro. Happily.
When we was younger, we obviously this is like my brother. This is one of my best friends, bro, since I think Henry 3 years older than me. So I was probably 10, he was probably 13, or even younger than that. Mm-hmm. When we used to hang out, I see Henry by himself all the time. But the crazy part about it, I used to be by myself. Mm-hmm. So we both know like the importance of being alone. Yeah. We both understand that. And I remember we was in high school. We always be in high school. Like we always used to chill in high school every single day. So I remember one time he was like, yo, you want to go to the movies? Like, he was like, if anything, I'll just go by myself. I was like, I can't go. I got football. I got this. He was like, oh, all right. Well, I'm just going by myself. I was like, you going by yourself? But this is, it's high school stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yo, you going to the movies by yourself? He was like, yeah. Just went straight to the movies by himself. Dolo. Didn't care. And the first time I did that, it was probably like, I think I was in college at the time, where I was just like, yo, I'm out. I'm just going by myself. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started just implementing that. So shout out to my brother Henry for that. He gave me that tool when we was in high school. I used it when I was in college, and I've been doing it ever since. So solitude, real quick. I'm just getting to that. Solitude, because that's something that you was getting into. Solitude is very important. Like, you find solutions in solitude, y'all. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and that's something that I could definitely understand and relate to what you're saying. Like, spending time alone, upheaving your spirituality, getting more in tune with self, reading books. Yeah. Reading is very important. You know what I mean? So like,
how did I miss that one?
Doing all those personal development practice, because that's podcasts, everything. I was doing podcasts by myself, sitting in the car by myself when I first started out.
You know what I mean?
I promise you. So, and Anchor was my first welcome to the podcast world. I don't know if they still got the app and stuff still, but Anchor was my joint that I used. So, sitting in the car by myself, just speaking, doing what I got to do, I'm collaborating with people who's like on the app but across the world. I'm just doing stuff like that. So I'm like,
that's dope.
Step outside your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's something that we both know. That's what we doing now.
Yeah.
This your first ever podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Come on, bro. You a natural.
Hey, I'm built for this. I was made to be
You
here.
feel what I'm saying?
You get what I'm trying to say? I was
Come
made
on,
to be
man.
here. We were made to be here.
Yeah.
But I want people to know I was made to be here.
Yeah.
So you're going to see me more.
Yeah.
A lot more. You're going to see me a lot more.
We will see you more, bro, because, you know, me being obviously your senior, right? Like, to see you become what you are now. And the reason why I told you I said yes to this podcast, because the energy you carry, I know you have a great message. I know you came up through some things. You have wisdom and knowledge that you can convey and disseminate to others, especially older and younger, to myself and younger than you. Yeah. What you're doing. You're volunteering right now on the football team. You're doing what you got. You're giving what you have, and you're giving it.
Right. And I want to like add to that, right? Like, this is something that, I'm not going to lie, even in the beginning, it took me as a surprise, right? Mm-hmm. Like, talking about the volunteering when it comes to football, right? We know that, you know, young kids tend to be knuckleheads. We were knuckleheads before. All of us.
For sure.
Right? And they're not going to listen to anyone that they don't respect.
Right.
Or that they don't deem to even know what they're talking about. And so, like, when it comes for me, like, right, like, if you look at my high school tape, it's not like I have the craziest tape in the world. Mm-hmm. I got my stuff. Mm-hmm. Because I'm still that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But it's not to say that I'm like, oh, like, even like I went to college and like played this and like did this, but it's just the energies like you talk about. It's me. It's my level of leadership where like, and I'm talking to them in a way where they see the benefit.
Yep.
I'm able to be fluid enough to be like, okay, I know this child understands things in this way, so I'm gonna piece it up to you in a way where you get it.
Meeting them where they are.
Yeah.
Meeting them where they are.
Exactly.
Right. And that's good. That's a really good characteristic trait.
Yeah, exactly. And then being fluid enough to, like, when it comes to older people and, like, this is, like, what's going on with this and stuff like that. Like, I'm going to listen. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to see if you even know what you're talking about first. Yeah. If you do, I pay that forward. Yeah. And then we'll move like that. And if you don't, respectfully, you know, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's not just about being older. You need to respect the older generation, of course. I'm not saying that that you don't. With that being said, you need to listen to people that you actually want to be like.
Yes.
And that's very important. I don't want people to just sit here and take advice from people that they don't even want to be like. People that don't even have a foundation, don't have the experience, don't have the credit, don't have the validation, don't even have the level of care in the messaging behind what they're saying. Like, you don't even have to listen to that. Like, you, granted, be respectful and be like, yo, like, I'm sorry, I just don't want to. Like, and depending on, like, who you are, you can, like, differentiate that. Yeah. But you don't have to sit there and waste your time. Yeah. Because you are an individual as well.
Time is everything.
Exactly. And we shouldn't be wasting it.
Right.
At all.
I got a question, man, and we got some time, but I want to, because this is going to be a good segue into the outro, but you're 22 now, right? You went through a lot of things in life. You got through it. You're strong, stronger than ever. Yeah. What would you tell your younger self?
Oh, what I would tell my younger self?
What would you tell your younger self, bro?
I'm going to be honest. This is the thing that I've always been struggling with. And even today, even though I'm a lot better in it, patience. And the reason I say patience is because, like, I don't want to use this as a excuse or as a justification. I just want to use it as an opening to, like, understanding me, right? Like, I like zodiac signs. I feel like they have a lot of truth into it. Yeah. And, like, I'm a Leo, right? Which is, like, a fire sign. And so, like, with that being said, like, anyone, like, who is into, like, astrology and stuff like that, they say, like, Leos have very, very big hearts. Yeah. But they're also, like, a lion, right? So it's, like, a hard exterior, but yet, like, a very, 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 like, soft and kind, like, interior. And so for me, I've always battled between the two because being too open and big-hearted, when it comes to certain people, they take advantage of that. Yeah. And then when it comes to that also exterior of being, like, you know, like, it can come off as aggressive. It can come off as harsh. It can come off as brutal. Yeah. It's also, like, that's also not my message. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to ever move in this world intentionally harming anyone. And so that's where it is like far as like is being patient, right? Like you got to understand that like, okay, no matter what you're going through right now, this is not where you're going to stay. This is only here to mold you into the individual that you need to be.
So when you're going through stuff, sometimes it's when you're going through those rough, dark days and stuff like that, it's hard to kind of see the light for yourself sometimes too.
I want to say that it's not necessarily hard to see the light because I see the light. This is the thing with me. I get frustrated why I'm not at where I see the light at. Because I'm like, I see the vision and I see the light and it's like right there. And I'm like right there. Mm-hmm. But why am I here right now? Like that's where the frustration and the impatience comes from because it's like granted, I feel like if I didn't know what the light was, then I wouldn't even be upset. You know what I mean? Because it was like, okay, I just, you know, in essence, I feel like I would have just been the type of person to like just accept whatever I'm going through as that being the way of life. Right. But if I'm like, no, I know that there's better. I know that there's more. I know that there is just different energy, people, conversation, vibes, ambiance, level of lifestyle, level of intellect. When I know that that's there, and I'm like, I'm currently here though, it pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie, it pisses me off.
I know.
It does.
You have an aptitude for knowledge.
Yeah.
That's what that is, bro. And you want to get better.
Yeah.
You have an endless hunger for knowledge and for betterment of self. That's something that I have. You know, I've always had that since I was a kid too, man. So I could definitely relate to that. Like, yeah. I can definitely relate, you know. So that's what's up, man. Like, you got a lot of great energy, bro. I'm happy for you, bro. Like, you're doing great things in the world. The kids look up to you. I want you to know that.
I appreciate it.
Based on what I see every day at practice, I see how they look at you and they listen to what you got to say. You got a connection with them. You know, you jumping up in the air, you getting high fives, you helping them out, you giving them ism on the side, like, yo, yeah, this is what you do. They apply it right then and there.
Right.
And the results is instant. So that means you're getting through to them. And that's why, like, it's very, very important that we pour into these kids.
Yeah,
because a lot of them don't even know the stuff that we know in regards of knowing your purpose, personal development. They don't know the importance of energy and how to carry yourself and posture and tonality and all these other good things like that. So like it's up to us. It's really up to us for real. Because I feel like the generation before me, they've done okay, but they could have done better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
100%.
Now it's up to us to learn from what they didn't do what they didn't do, and give to the kids that's gonna do what we gave them.
I wanna say something that it was funny, and the reason that it was funny in practice is because it was so real. And I didn't know that Curvin was gonna break it down like this to this kid, right? So there was this kid that came up to him.
Curve.
Shout out to Curvin, man. That's my guy.
That's my brother right there.
Sure.
Good dude.
There was a kid that had come up to him, right? Like after drill, after indies. That's individual special skills, right? Mm-hmm. And so the kid had come up to him and he was like, yo, like, what are some things that I can improve on? What are some things that I can do? What are some things that you're seeing? He was like, everything and more. And dapped him up and walked away.
Everything and more.
And that I want people to understand that that's a very simple line, but that's very, very deep.
Very deep.
And in essence, is like you said, everything that we're doing, we need to do everything and more. We still need to do better. Even if we feel like we did our best, we need to do more on top of that.
Yes.
Because it's a constant quest and constant journey.
Yeah. And that is pretty much programming you and conditioning you to say, all right, I just gave my all, but this guy in front of me thinks that I have more. No, matter of fact, he doesn't think. He knows that I have more, which is why he's requesting me that I do it.
Exactly.
So I have to give my all. So when y'all have people, like these kids got to have someone that believes in them.
Yeah.
And that's what we are doing right now. We're showing these kids that we believe in them, that they have the ability to be great in life because people like Henry, for me, it was Coach Hank, it was Henry's father that believed in me. It was people, all the other coaches, Coach Fatty, Coach Fats, Coach Yaya, Coach Jerome, my dad who was always there too. Like all these people that were positive points of references for us, they poured into us so much to the point where we said, all right, it clicked for us at certain points in our life. Like, yo, this is me. Right. I am who I am. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to do what I have to do to be a better person Then on top of that, when I become that better person, I'm gonna teach others how to be their better versions of themselves.
Yeah, and pay that forward.
And that's what we do, man. Like, that's why we in the courage room. You feel what I'm saying? Because we gotta have the courage. Gotta have the courage, bro. So when you muster up the gumption, the temerity, the gumption to go out and be your authentic self and know who you are, nobody can stop you because you're supposed to claim autonomy over yourself. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to become, like, have that dominion over self. Mm-hmm. Have that dominion over everything, every idea, every dream, whatever you got going on in your life, in your entire life. Control that.
Right.
Control what you control. Don't control what you can't control.
And it's different, right? Like, even what it is, like, even when we're speaking right now, like, I want people to understand that when you become the best version of yourself and you're constantly on that quest and that's what you focus on, you're able to be better for everyone else in the world.
Yes.
And that you can't, I don't feel like you can actually be there for others if you're not there for yourself. Mm-hmm. You can't fully be there. Mm. Because if, let's just say that if you have a spiritual cup, right? If your spiritual cup was at 100, you're able to give a lot more to someone who's empty. Yep. But if your spiritual cup is at 20%, all you're doing is giving 20% of your cup, and then you're at 0. And then let's say that you continue to try to give. You're gonna keep going down, and then, like, it's not gonna be the same. It's not. Right. Even if you think that you're doing that, and in essence you could be there half the way, you can be there a little bit, but it's not gonna be the same at all.
Yeah, man. And that's part of reasons why you're supposed to know what you're sent here to do, so you can know yourself and know what energy that you can give to people.
Exactly.
And know what energy you can't give to people. You know what I mean? It's very important to know, like, yo, all right, I can only spread my arm out this far, but I can't go farther than that. Right. My range of motion is what it is. Exactly. Like, I can't give anything more than what I can give. And people, and you're supposed to explain that to people, and if they don't understand, it's not for them to understand it at that moment. Exactly. So we gonna continue that on the next episode because we gotta close out right now. But what I do want to say is, for you, bro, is that you're doing great things in the world, bro.
Appreciate
Greatness is in your favor, bro. Like, I believe in you. I know that you're gonna be great. I've always told you this.
Appreciate
so
you,
continue to be a trailblazer. Continue to be that leader for the youth, for people like me who's watching, who's proud to see you blossom into who you are. For people like Henry, who's your big brother, who is a positive point of reference for you, keep doing your thing, bro. Like, I'm very, very proud of you, man. Seriously.
Appreciate
you. You know what
man.
I said? Like, that's what we do. Yo, nah, for real though. But that's what we do, man. Like, to see this right now, to be in this room, like, it's dope to see, man. And you got a lot of greatness to achieve, y'all. Like, y'all have no idea. So,
this is just a start. It's. I want people to understand that we're about to go global.
Yeah, we taking over, man, and the energy y'all about to receive from everybody like me, Alex, and everybody else, it's about to be crazy. So just remember to know your role in the world. Everybody, right? Look at your life as a chessboard, right? What piece are you on the board?
Damn.
Everybody ain't a king. Everybody ain't a queen. Everybody is a king and a queen. However, how right now in your life, which piece are you? Are you the bishop? Are you the knight? Are you the pawn? Are you the king? Are you the queen? I said rook, right? Are you the rook? Which one are you?
And in what situation?
And what situations, how you gonna move? How you gonna move? And whichever way you're gonna move is what's gonna shape the next step in your life. If you're a pawn, try to get to that end, right? To become a different character so you can have more power and then so on and so forth. But know your role in this world, bro, so you can help others because we all serving a big purpose in this world. And that's what we here for. We just part of the bigger picture, bro.
All day, every day.
You know what I mean? So keep doing your thing, man. So listen, yo, we closing out, man. It's nice being here again, bro. Shout out to my brother Alex right here, Acevedo, once again, man. Yo, man, coming on the show, man. This kid is going places, man. I'm telling y'all right now, be on the lookout for this young man in the entrepreneurial world. You know what I mean? Because we on our way. All right, man. So, look, we're closing out, man. Thanks for watching. Godspeed.
Peace.